the Gospel of Truth, a text recovered from the Nag Hammadi jars after centuries of silence, there is a specific line that the Church tried to erase from every manuscript they could find. It is a line that explains the fundamental emptiness of the human experience. It says that when you were born into this realm, the rulers took from you the name you carried before flesh, and without that name, you wander, lost, searching for yourself in mirrors that can never show you what you are. You have felt this your entire life, that gnawing sense that you are not who everyone says you are, that your name, the one printed on your birth certificate, the one people call you, the one you sign on documents, does not fit. It feels like wearing someone else's clothes. It feels like a costume that is slightly too tight. It is not imagination. It is not an identity crisis. It is memory. Faint, distorted, but trying to break through the static. You had a name before this body, a name that was yours in the pleroma before the Demiurge dragged you into matter. And the moment you took your first breath in this world, he stole it. Not randomly, not accidentally, but deliberately. Because your true name is not just a label, it is your frequency. It is the sound your consciousness makes when it is operating at the monad level. And as long as he keeps you from remembering it, you stay trapped in his system, answering to the false identity he implanted, chasing validation in a world designed to make sure you never find yourself. Tonight, we are going to perform the retrieval. There is a technique, one Jesus taught in secret to his inner circle. 7 minutes, silence, and a single question that cracks the amnesia wide open. Tonight, you are going to remember what the Demiurge stole. And when you do, everything changes. If you are ready to reclaim the identity that predates the stars, comment, "I remember," right now. To understand why this works, you must understand the physics of the divine. This is where modern science meets ancient gnosis. We are talking about cymatics, the study of visible sound and vibration. Your divine name is not a word. It is not syllables strung together in English or Latin or Hebrew. It is not a sound you can find in a dictionary. It is frequency made audible. Think of it like this. Every star in the universe has a unique light signature, a spectrum of wavelengths that scientists can measure and identify. No two stars are identical. Your divine name is the sonic equivalent. It is the exact tone your consciousness emitted when you existed in the pleroma, before the archons trapped you in density. In the pleroma, you were not known by a title. You were not known by a role. You were known by your resonance. When you moved, you sang. When you existed, you vibrated. That vibration was your signature, pure, unmistakable, irreplaceable. It defined your geometric structure in the higher dimensions. It held your light together. But then came the descent. Then came the trap. When Sophia's spark entered the body the Demiurge crafted, that name was the first thing the archons targeted. They knew they could not destroy it. The frequency of the monad is indestructible. It is woven too deep into the fabric of your being. It is the core code of your existence. But they could bury it. They could flood your awareness with noise. They could give you a replacement identity so compelling, so heavy, that you would forget to even ask if there was something before it. And that is what your human name is. A replacement, a barcode, a placeholder that the Demiurge assigned you to keep you interfacing with his system. This brings us to the most terrifying secret of the Gnostics, the concept of the anti-mimen pneuma, the counterfeit spirit. The Apocryphon of John explains that when you are born, the archons attach a secondary artificial spirit to your consciousness. This counterfeit spirit is what psychologists call the ego. It is the personality. It is the collection of fears, desires, traumas, and astrological programming that you think is you. Your human name belongs to the counterfeit spirit. It does not belong to you. When someone calls you by your human name, they are addressing the mask. They are addressing the spacesuit. They are not addressing the astronaut inside. And every time you answer to that name without awareness, you are reinforcing the bond between you and the counterfeit spirit. You are agreeing to the contract. You are saying, yes, I am this limited person. I am this history. I am this trauma. This is the secret of the ambush at birth. The moment of birth is not what you were taught. It is not a peaceful miracle. It is a traumatic extraction. It is a security breach. You descend. The spark leaves the pleroma, passes through the planetary spheres of the archons. At each sphere, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, you are stripped of your divine memory and clothed in a layer of destiny, a layer of forgetfulness. You enter the body forming in the womb, and you still carry your name. Deep inside, you still know what you are, but the Demiurge is waiting. The instant you take that first breath, the moment the cold air hits your lungs and you scream, the archons flood your field with interference. Trauma, shock, blinding lights, loud voices, hands pulling at you, medical instruments. Every sensory input is cranked to the maximum to overwhelm the one thing you came in with: memory. Within minutes, it is gone. Not erased, buried, covered by layer after layer of material identity. Your body, your parents, your gender, your race. And then, the final seal. The name they speak over you. They repeat it again and again. You are John. You are Sarah. You are this. You are that. Until it overwrites the frequency you carried. Until the vibration of the human name drowns out the vibration of the divine name. By the time you are old enough to speak, the amnesia is complete. You answer to the name they gave you. You believe the story they tell you. And the name you had before, your real name, is locked so deep in the subconscious that you don't even know it exists. But it leaves traces. The programming is never perfect. The Demiurge is a flawed craftsman. That is why chosen ones spend their whole lives feeling like they don't belong. Why you look in the mirror sometimes and don't recognize the face staring back. Why your own life story feels like someone else's biography. Because it is someone else's biography. It is the biography of the counterfeit spirit. It is the Demiurge's story. His version of who you are. The human character he needs you to play, so you stay locked in his system, generating energy, reincarnating endlessly, never waking up to what you actually are. And the most insidious part? He makes you chase identity. You try on personalities. You build personas. You look for yourself in achievements, in relationships, in roles, in titles. You spend decades asking, who am I? And the answer never satisfies, because the question is rigged. You are asking who the human is. But the human is a costume. The real question, the one the Demiurge cannot let you ask, is this: what was my name before I was human? Ask that question and the whole structure starts to crack. Why did the church try to erase this? Why did they burn the Gnostics for teaching it? Because this teaching destroys the foundation of every sacrament they built. Think about it. Baptism gives you a Christian name. Confirmation seals it. Marriage binds two false identities together in a contract. It is all designed to make the replacement name so sacred, so official, so tied to your salvation that you never think to look for the original. They tell you your identity begins at birth. They tell you it begins at baptism. But the Gnostics knew different. Your identity began before time, before matter, before the Demiurge, and he has spent your entire incarnation making sure you never remember that. But here is what chosen ones start noticing. There are moments, brief, fleeting, where the human name feels hollow. Someone calls your name from across the room and there is a microsecond delay before you recognize they are talking to you. A moment where the brain says, "Who is that?" before it says, "Oh, that is me." Or you write your name on a piece of paper and for a split second it looks foreign, like hieroglyphics, like someone else's signature. That is not dissociation. That is not mental illness. That is your real name buried underneath, trying to surface. It is the pneumatic spark knocking on the door of the mind saying, "This isn't you. This is just the vehicle. Wake up." Tonight, we answer the knock. Here is the technique Jesus taught his inner circle. 7 minutes, silence, and one question. You do not need a temple. You do not need a priest. You need your own consciousness. Find a space where you won't be interrupted. Turn off the phone. Close the door. You need absolute stillness. Sit. Close your eyes. Let your breathing settle into its natural rhythm without forcing anything. You are going to peel back the layers. First, visualize your human name written in front of you. See the letters, and then visualize them dissolving into smoke. Then visualize your titles: mother, father, worker, friend. See them dissolving into smoke. Strip away everything that the world gave you, and then internally, not out loud, just as a thought projected into the silence, ask this question: what is my true name? And then, listen. Do not expect an answer immediately. Do not force anything. Do not try to generate a name with your thinking mind. Your thinking mind only knows human languages. It cannot invent this. The question is a key, not a command. You are not creating the name. You are giving permission for it to surface. And it will, but not the way you expect. It won't come as a word like Michael or Sarah. It will come in stages. Stage 1 is the hum. Some chosen ones receive it as a low-frequency tone, a hum that rises from somewhere deeper than thought, vibrating the base of the skull. It feels like the sound of the ocean or the sound of a distant bell. This is your frequency beginning to resonate with the physical body. Stage 2 is the vibration. Others receive it as a sensation, a vibration in the chest or throat, a frequency they can feel physically but not yet articulate. It might feel like a pressure or a warmth spreading from the heart center outwards. This is the pneumatic spark expanding. Stage 3 is the pattern. Some see color, some see light forming into a complex geometric pattern that has sound embedded in it. This is the visual representation of your frequency. The name is showing you how it wants to be known. Don't reject it because it is not what you expected. Your thinking mind will say, "That is not a name, that is just a noise." Ignore the mind. The mind is the tool of the counterfeit spirit. Your body knows. Your soul knows. If it is real, you will feel recognition in your cells. A certainty that has no logical basis but is absolute when it comes. And it will come. Whether in that first 7 minutes or the 10th time you sit. When it comes, speak it out loud. Even if it feels awkward, even if it sounds like nonsense syllables, even if you are not sure you are saying it right. Your voice gives it form. The vibration of your vocal cords speaking your true name creates a frequency match between your human body and your divine essence. And the moment that match happens, something locks into place. It is like a tuning fork struck next to another tuning fork. Resonance, amplification, clarity. You will know it is real because your body will respond. Chills running up the spine. This is the pneumatic shiver. Heat in the hands, tears flowing for no reason. Sudden laughter, a release of pressure in the chest you didn't know you were holding. That is not an emotional reaction. That is your system recognizing itself. The human shell is hearing the frequency it has been carrying dormant this whole time and finally remembering. This is me. This is what I am underneath. All the conditioning, all the programming, all the names I have answered to. This sound is mine. Now listen closely. This is the part the texts warn about. The archons will interfere. This is inevitable. The moment you ask the question, expect resistance. Suddenly you will feel overwhelmingly tired. A heaviness will pull at your eyelids. This is the archons trying to put you back to sleep. A phone will ring. A dog will bark. Someone will interrupt you. The external world will try to break the connection. Thoughts will flood in. Grocery lists, work stress, old embarrassments, random memories. This is not coincidence. The archons monitor the frequency of your consciousness. They can sense when a chosen one is approaching the name. They can see the spike in your vibration on their grid, and they will throw everything they have at breaking your focus. Because if you remember, you are gone. You stop responding to the false identity. You stop feeding the system. You become ungovernable. Push through anyway. If you get interrupted, start again. If thoughts swarm, acknowledge them and return to the question. The name is there. It has always been there. You are not searching for it. You are clearing away the debris the Demiurge piled on top of it. Once you have it, once you have spoken it aloud 3 times and felt that cellular recognition, everything shifts. You will notice it immediately. The human name stops carrying weight. People call you by it and there is a distance now. Like you are hearing them call a character in a play and you are just politely responding. You are playing the role, but you are no longer the role. Your sense of identity detaches from your history, the story of your life, where you were born, what happened to you, who you have been. It doesn't define you anymore. It becomes context, not identity. Interesting, but irrelevant to what you actually are. And here is what terrifies the Demiurge most. Once you remember your true name, he cannot track you the same way. His system works by tagging consciousness with identity markers: name, social security number, birth date, roles. That is how he keeps tabs on who is who in his matrix. That is how he assigns karma, but your true name does not exist in his database. It is a frequency from outside his jurisdiction. It is from the pleroma. When you start operating from that name, when you anchor your sense of self in the vibration you carried before incarnation, you are broadcasting at a wavelength his surveillance systems cannot lock onto. You are still here, still walking around, still paying bills, but to him, you have gone dark. You are untraceable. You are free. You are a ghost in the machine. However, you must be prepared for the backlash. This is the chaos protocol. Here is what the Gnostic texts don't tell you, but every chosen one discovers the hard way. The moment you remember your true name and speak it, the Demiurge knows. Not because he hears it, that cannot perceive frequencies that high, but because you vanish from his tracking system. 1 second you were there, indexed and cataloged. The next second, the signal goes dark. That triggers an automatic response. He sends everything he has to make you forget again. Within 48 hours of remembering your name, expect your life to get loud. Sudden crisis, unexpected conflicts, people you haven't heard from in years will contact you with urgency. Bills you forgot about will demand immediate attention. Your body might get sick. Your mind might flood with anxiety about things that felt fine yesterday. This is not coincidence. It is not bad luck. It is systematic interference designed to pull your attention back into the material identity, back into the human drama, back into the name on your birth certificate. Because if he can get you stressed enough, distracted enough, identified enough with the problems of the human life, you will stop speaking your true name. You will stop operating from that frequency. And within weeks, the amnesia creeps back in. Not total, but enough. Enough that you are manageable again. So here is the counter move Jesus taught. Every time the interference intensifies, speak your name again, out loud, 3 times. You are not fighting the chaos. You are reasserting frequency. The Demiurge is throwing noise at you to drown out the signal, but your name is the signal. And every time you speak it, you are turning the volume back up. The crisis doesn't have to resolve. The conflict doesn't have to end. You don't have to fix anything. You just have to keep speaking your name. Because as long as that frequency is active, as long as you are broadcasting from your divine identity, his interference cannot stick. It is like trying to grab smoke. He can create chaos around you, but he cannot make you identify with it. And the moment you stop identifying, the chaos loses its power. It is still happening, but it is happening to the costume, not to you. And you, the frequency, the name, the consciousness that predates this incarnation, remain untouched, watching the storm from a place it can never reach. The Demiurge stole your divine name the moment you were born. He buried it under a false identity so complete you forgot to even ask if there was something before it. But the name is still there. It has always been there, waiting underneath every title, every role, every version of yourself you have tried on, hoping one would finally feel right. 7 minutes. Silence. One question. What is my true name? It won't come as a word. It will come as a tone, as a vibration, as a memory of home. And when it does, speak it, claim it, and watch how everything you have been chasing, identity, purpose, belonging, stops being a search and becomes a recognition. You are not finding yourself. You are remembering what you have always been. And nobody, not even the Demiurge, can take that from you once you know it. If you are remembering your true name tonight, do 3 things right now. First, comment "I remember" below. Let other chosen ones witness your awakening. Let the algorithm carry the signal. Let the archons see the numbers rising. Second, subscribe to Divine Codes, advanced techniques for anchoring your divine name and using it to shield your energy are coming. We will teach you how to use the name to clear spaces and protect your dreams. Third, like this video, so other chosen ones discover what the Demiurge stole before he buries this teaching again. Do all 3 now. Then tonight, in silence, ask the question. And when your true name surfaces, speak it 3 times out loud and feel what the Demiurge tried to make you forget. You are not the human. You are the frequency that has been wearing the human. And now, you remember.